Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Brett Tippie podcast. I'm Brett Tippie, and I'm here with an old friend of mine, Justin Wyper, who's a longtime free rider, former Slopestyler, got a wicked moto style, went big, done some world first tricks, and is a builder now as well, building for Brandon Semenuk, amongst others, and building for Joyride as well for many years, and still riding his bike, and hanging out here in Whistler, and yeah, good to see you.
Living the life.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, how are you, Brett?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, living the life, like I said, you know?
Yeah,
Here
man.
in Whistler, just, doing me.
Where do you go after you live in Whistler?
Nowhere.
Like-
Once you get a house and kids and a wife, you're stuck. You can't get out.
It's hard to leave the valley
It's
no
not-
matter what.
Yeah, it's not a bad place to be stuck, though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I love this place. There's something magic in this valley.
Yeah, it's, like I used to come up here every weekend after school, you know, because I grew up in Vancouver, and then I came up for a summer, and I never left.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much the story of everybody, but, you know.
Came for the weekend.
I've wanted
and
to
I'm
be
still
here forever, and yeah.
And you
I'm
are.
here.
Yeah.
So,
So you're from Vancouver. Where were you born?
I was born in Langley, so
Okay.
just outside of Vancouver, and then I just say Vancouver because, you know, no one knows.
Lower Mainland.
Yeah, Lower Mainland.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was born down in Langley. Grew up there, went to school. That's where I started riding. Langley had an amazing. Langley and Surrey both had like a really good riding scene back in the day. So, yeah, that's kind of where I got into everything, and yeah.
What was your first bike?
Oh, my first real mountain bike.
No, what was your first bicycle?
My first like bicycle, I don't even remember. But the first like mountain bike that I remember was like a super cycle from Walmart or
Come
whatnot.
on.
Like, oh yeah. Red, had rear suspension. It was rad. But it actually ended up getting stolen out of our backyard in the shed. And this is when I was like 15 something, and I was just starting to get into mountain biking. And for my 16th birthday, my dad brought me out, and I got a Norco Sasquatch.
Oh.
And I was stoked, right? Like,
Yeah.
went down to the local bike shop, picked up this thing, and I had been on Pink Bike and everything else, just like, you know, frothing over this thing for months and months. Anyway, so we get home, and immediately, like, I've been on Pink Bike, I'm frothing over this bike, but also like, you know, the Junior T forks and the
my
double wide
goodness.
rims.
Yeah.
You know, all the things. So anyways, I get this bike and I bring it home, super stoked, ride it a little bit in the backyard, immediately go to the barn and like start tearing it apart because I've got all these parts that I've been stockpiling for a while. Put a Junior T on it and some double wides and just, you know, big tires because I wanted to, you know, hit big shit with it.
Yeah, of
a real
course.
mountain bike, right? So,
Yeah.
anyways, my dad comes out and he's like, "What have you done?" This is like literally 24 hours after brand new mountain bike my dad just
Here you go,
bought me.
kid.
Yeah. And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I was so stoked about it, and he was just like, "You destroyed your bike. You haven't even had it for 24 hours. Like, come on. What are you doing?"
You're like, Dad, it's way better now.
Yeah, exactly. But
And did you get the build done right then and there, or did it take a while to finish it?
it took a while.
Yeah.
I wasn't a good mechanic back then.
No. Are you a good mechanic now?
I don't know. I've lost my touch.
Yeah.
I worked in bike shops for like a lot of my younger years, so I know a thing or two, but now everything's changed.
Yeah. I'm not a very good mechanic.
And
myself.
I don't have the time for it. I just give it to people to...
I have people for this.
Yeah. Actually, I don't even give it to people. I just ride it long enough that my friends, when I go to ride with them, because it's not very often, they're like, "What are you doing with that?" And they just like throw stuff at me because I'm like, I just... Anyways.
Oh, that's funny. So who were you first riding with? Like, who were some of your early crew that you rode bikes with?
When I like first started riding, me and Mitch Chubby rode every day.
He's from Langley too.
Well, he's from, I think it's Surrey where he is.
Okay.
But we're like a 5-minute drive from each other. So I would go up and ride like the Brookswood Skate Park in Surrey, and with him pretty much every day. We'd go out to White Rock and ride out there. And then like Frankie Vass and Logan Pete started coming out that way and spending a bunch of time. I guess Frankie Vass, I think, was from White Rock originally, but anyways, yeah. Just kind of all that whole Lower Mainland crew.
Yeah.
Anthony came a little later.
Masseri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dustin Gilding I rode with a lot there. Like, he was in Abbotsford, and he had his jumps in his backyard.
He's a sick rider. He's
oh yeah.
A lot of people know him for building, but he's a sick rider too.
Insanely talented.
Yeah.
And he's had jumps at his old place, and now this last video they did with Anthony was there, and yeah, we still go to his place every year and ride. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
right
super
on.
cool.
So when did you come up to Whistler? Like, did you?
It was
Or did you start like competing and stuff out of Langley and traveling up there?
Yeah, I started
out
of Langley, and then it was kind of like around 2010. I want to say that I kind of moved up into Whistler. I had a buddy, John Rempel, who lived in Mission, and I'd go.
Is that the
there.
John Rempel that works at the Fanatico bike
shop?
shop?
Yeah, Johnny Rempel and Fanatico.
Yeah.
Probably the best mechanic in Whistler.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
he's a shredder too.
Insane.
Yeah.
That dude on a downhill bike will blow your mind.
His hands are like Mick Hanna's. They're just like, they're as wide as they are long. They're just like, they're that thick, full of muscle.
Yeah. I can remember, like, I'd be riding behind him, and it's just, he's so good on a bike. Like, but he's sneaky good, you know?
Yeah.
You look at him and but then he just destroys.
Shreds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like that in the Whistler Bike Park.
Yeah.
But that's one of our friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So before you moved up here, you were competing. You started riding, and you started, going big, started getting a bigger bag of tricks. And then, like, as early as 2007, you won the best trick at Crankworx, Colorado.
Yeah, they had, I think it was either, I don't know what, they had like a few different best trick things. So each year they had like a feature in the middle of the course and at the end of the course. But I did a McMets off of the step down at the end there. And I can't remember if there was like first, second, and third, or if it was like a joint thing. But I remember being up on stage with Jamie Goldman. I was like, this is the coolest day of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think you were the first person to do a McMets on a mountain bike.
Yeah, I don't think that there's actually very many people who have ever done one since.
So for the people who don't know what a McMets is, and I don't exactly know myself, it's kind of like a heel clicker backwards where
So
you take your hands off and put your hands back on.
You do like candy bar, so like legs through your arms
over your bars.
Yeah, and then you do like a nothing and like bring your arm or your legs around
back to your pedals,
back on, and
then grab your hands back on the bars.
I don't do them very often anymore.
But this is like the rumor is that you were the world's first to do that on a mountain bike, and like you say, I haven't seen many people do those since.
No, not too many people do those. That's for sure.
Yeah,
it's a sketchy one.
That's sick. Well, speaking of world's first, I think you were the first person to flip Cordova.
Yeah,
as well.
I was doing those for a little while on a mountain bike.
Which explain to the people what a flip Cordova is.
Yeah, flip Cordova is like you do a flip and you put your feet on the handlebars and do like a back flex thing. Like if you watch any moto movie, they're super prevalent in there and they're super badass. And
yeah.
Like, man, this is super cool. I'm gonna try and do one of these.
Yeah.
And it didn't work very often, but it works sometimes.
Yeah.
That's how I rode back in the day, right? I was full out just Yahtzee, go out there, roll the dice, and hope for the
see
best.
if it works.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a little older and wiser now, but.
Well, you can take the beats like that when you're young, right?
Yeah, not now. I feel it.
And how old are you now?
33.
Okay.
Yeah, not crazy old, but
not crazy old like me.
Yeah.
7
years, I get to release my 40s just a number video.
Yeah. I can't wait already. Well, speaking of world's first, you were also the first mountain biker that I know of to do a front flip off a flat drop up in Kelowna at Dreamland, I believe.
Yeah.
Hanging out with Casey Groves and...
Yeah, Dustin Greenall and...
Yeah.
That place was sick. We'd go up there and ride. Like every year they'd have this huge like end of season jam and everyone would go. Jordy, Matthews, like everyone was there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was sick. So before that jam that year, we went out and I wanted to do a front flip off a drop. I thought it was super cool. And Sam Pilgrim had actually done one, I think a few years before, but he was doing the style where you like go up and you kind of do a little trials like on the back wheel and then like kick it or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had been working, I can't remember if I was working at the Airdome then or I think it was before Airdome, but I was riding the Airdome a lot because of Whistler and all that. So I've been doing them into the foam pit for ages, and I was like, man, I really just want to you know,
It's just a
go
sizable
and do
drop
one of
too.
these. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, well, so at the Airdome, like that's a, I don't know, like a 8-foot drop or something into the foam.
Yeah.
And I would always land like a little Manny heavy, like controlled, but like
need more
always.
time.
Yeah, I was like, man, I just need a bigger drop. So I just built a bigger drop. And then, you know, whenever you build anything, you have this like image in your head, but whenever it's done, it's always like 5-6 feet bigger than what you imagined, right?
Oops.
So like we build this thing and I'm just like, fuck. But I'd called it out so many times. I was like, I guess I just kind of have to do this.
Yeah.
But
And it worked the first time?
yeah, well, yes. So I tested the drop, and the first time I rode the drop just to like
Straight air.
straight air it, excuse me, I like 50-50 cased and like front wheels sunk in because we just quickly packed like the landing. It's all sand and Kelowna there.
Yeah.
And I just like tomahawk down the hill.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my goodness. And then I hit it a few more times and then just straight fronted it right away because I was like, I just got to get it. I'm not the kind of person that like whenever I do anything, I kind of just have to like, once I've made my decision,
Do
it's
it,
like,
get it over with.
yeah, get it over with.
That's just like Wade Simmons. That's one of the best things I learned from Wade, you know, not for fucking big tricks, but for riding something gnarly and tech, you know, is if you're going to do it, once you make the switch in your mind, the decision,
you just have
do
to
it.
do it.
Because if you do a million bitch runs, or, you know, or test runs or whatever, and you second guess yourself, you're not going to be as fluid and you're going to be stiff when you do it. If you're going to do it right away or don't do it.
For sure.
And I learned that and I was like, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah.
Good way to be.
As long as you're, you know, confident and you've actually like done the prep work, it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you can't just like walk if you haven't.
I want to do this. Where's my cape?
I have decided.
Yeah. This is what's going
The
down.
decision has been made.
So you speak about working at the Airdome. Like, who you worked there with Reese Wallace, did you not?
Yeah, Reese and I worked there for a time together, and yeah, I was there for, I don't know, three or 4 years, 3 years maybe. That was great. Excuse me, because I rode the most I had ever ridden when I worked at the Airdome.
And they had such a variety of jumps and
Yeah, it was like I only rode the Resi and the quarter, but I would just like I'd ride for 8 hours a day, and I would just like it was
I'm working here.
It was insane. Like my riding got so much better from when I was past competing and doing all that once I was kind of working at the Airdome, but I was a far better rider from working there than I ever was before, you know? It was just practice.
Putting in the hours.
Well, yeah, so it's like Brandon used to go up there and ride quite a bit. And I remember one time we were sitting on the roll and I was like, man, that's like, this is F. Like, how'd you do that? He's like, practice. And that just kind of like stuck with me then. So I was at work and I was like, what am I doing? Just like sitting here. I'm just going to ride all day. And I would like, I'd just ride the Resi and I would just do like the same trick like 30 times in a row. So I was like so dialed on so many things then. But
Repetition.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Oh, wow. Too bad you weren't competing after you gotten those skills
2020, right?
Right? Yeah. Gee.
If only.
Yeah. But you still have some great results. Like, you know, you won the best trick, like I said, in Crankworx, Colorado, 2007. I think when I first met you, no, I'd met you before that, but 2008, you won the NSMB Airprentice when it was still up in Whistler before it went to Slopestyle.
Yeah, it was still up in Whistler then.
Yeah.
That was
How did that go?
That was crazy.
That was a big deal back then.
I didn't even I owned a bike, but not like a downhill mountain bike. I actually had to rent a mountain bike from Summit, like a downhill bike.
You won that on a rented bike. That's awesome.
And I had my Cannondale Chase, like my hardtail that I rode all the time, but it was like in shambles, like because I wasn't very smooth, you know. I was like, I needed 2 bikes for every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But
fix one, ride the other.
Yeah. So I like seat zip tied on there and like just super sketchy. But anyways, yeah. So
wait. You had your seat zip tied on?
Yeah, no seat post, just seat zip tied to the frame.
No seat post. Well, it's down and low out of the way anyways, right?
Yeah. There's some old photos like And there's
awesome.
some old photos, and I'm like doing a tail whip in the boneyard, and you can see like there's the seats just like there's zip ties around the top tube, like holding it.
Oh my god, that's so ghetto, but so awesome.
I know.
That was back
anyways,
in the days. Like that was shortly after Paul Bass won Crankworx his first time on a borrowed bike.
Yeah, I think
that was the year before.
Was it the year before?
Yeah, or he did that the year before,
yeah.
and then 2000.
I can't remember who won in 2008 or.
And 2000, I can't remember either. They all blend together all the years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you were an Airprentice, and what did you get for that? Like what happens then? Like then you're on the team, and then you have to wear the jersey, and then you get to go on some trips and stuff.
Yeah, I rode for NSMB for a few years with that, like Cam McRae, who runs NSMB, and
NSMB was a big deal back then.
Yeah, huge. Probably not as big as what it is now, but definitely for like the North Shore and like Fraser Valley, like in that area, it was a really big mountain bike page, and like
and the forum was busy.
Yeah, like the forum was like you wouldn't go to the Pink Bike forum, you'd go to the NSMB forum for like anything around here, and then everything's kind of changed over now. But it was a pretty big deal at the time. Like they had a team sponsor with like SRAM and DT and I got a bunch of sweet bikes, and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like,
so you got a dirt jumper and a downhill bike?
Downhill dirt jump bike, yeah. And then I started getting slope bikes and stuff, like just part kits. And actually, no, they had Specialized too that they were on. So I was riding like a Specialized frame for a little while, and that was pretty cool. But and then they'd go on trips and do all kinds of stuff. They'd take their truck and zip around, and I don't know why they gave me their team truck to take down to the States. And I'm like 20, really? 21, just...
Oh my God.
Because Mitch Juby rode for NSMB as well. I think he won the year before me. Or the year before, I think he won in 2007. So we'd go on we'd rode together growing up.
Yeah.
Now we're on the same team. We just travel everywhere together in this, And, oh man. So we went down to the States one time. And
was this the time you ran out of gas?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. This was a California trip.
Okay.
And there's a lot of stories with Mitch Juby traveling, but this is like one of. Anyways, so we're down in California.
It's one of them.
It's one of them. So we're down in California, and NSMB is sponsored by Dennys at the time.
Yep.
So we get these Denny bucks, and like we're 20, 21, broke, not working other than what we're doing for NSMB, which isn't paying us, just giving us parts that we're like selling on it, like on Pink Bike and NSMB, whatever, just to like make a few $100 for food to get by. Anyway, so we're down there, and we have like these pocket full of Denny dollars, and we go into the Dennys, and that's all we'd eat is Dennys the whole way down there, the whole way back. And we go to this Dennys, and we just like go crazy, right? Buy all the things. We have like literally $2,000 in Dennys dollars for like this 10-day
You're not going to go
trip.
hungry.
So, no, we're not going to go hungry. Like lots of pancakes and eggs. But anyways, so we like order this huge meal, and this is the first time we've hit this Dennys in this California place, and they bring us the bill, and we just leave a bunch of Denny dollars on the table, and the waiter kind of looks at them like, what is this? And you probably haven't seen a Denny dollar, but they look like Monopoly money, but just with the Dennys logo on it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like literally a piece of paper with a Dennys logo and like a $5 sign on it or whatever, right? So she brings it back to the manager. The manager comes up, and he's like, this isn't like a thing. Like, we're like, oh no, it's a Canadian Dennys. Like, and he's like, yeah, we're not like, it's a different Canadian Dennys and American Dennys. Like, we're not the same. We're like, oh no, like this isn't gonna work. This is the only Dennys in this town. We're staying here for like 5 days, and we have no other money. Like, what are we gonna do? We ended up sweet talking him, and he let us. He would actually ended up being super stoked about it, and like we didn't even have to pay for the Denny dollars the whole time. He just kind of hooked us up. It was Chubby pretty much swung that whole deal.
The art of sweet talking, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Denny's dollars.
Yeah, we travel everywhere just on Denny dollars.
Yeah.
NSMB days.
What was your favorite item on the menu?
They had this like
Superbird.
Yes. The super
What?
bird.
That was mine.
That was
Are
mine.
you serious?
I was literally just trying to think of, I was like, it had something to do with a bird. What was it called?
The super bird. Yeah.
It was like egg and bacon and cheese.
And had some bacon in there.
Inside of like this grilled cheese,
perfect.
like bread thing.
It was almost kind of healthy.
Almost.
Yeah. The super bird. Unbelievable. I love that. Wow. Well, you've done a lot of road trips. You know, you've cruised around and hit a bunch of contests and free ride spots. You know, like you say, you've traveled a lot with Mitch Chubby and Reese, I think.
We did a lot of traveling with Reese and like Jack Fogel from Camp of Champions.
Oh my
and
God.
like
Where is
Brendan
he now?
Howie.
I haven't seen him forever.
I think he's like engineering or something.
Is he?
Yeah.
He was good.
Heavy in his school,
he was a
man.
good rider.
Talk about like world's firsts and stuff. That dude was doing stuff before like
Jack Fogelquist?
Cool. Oh yeah, man.
Really?
He was doing like flip whip to bars and bars to flip whips and like just crazy combos at like a meal stuff, but maybe not quite a meal stuff, but crazy combos.
Ahead of his time.
Way ahead of its time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember him being stylish. I never knew he did stuff like that though.
Oh yeah, just like a video game.
Yeah. Insane. The talents that come and go.
Flip no foot can to tail whip. Like what?
Really?
Give me a break.
Wow. Where was he from?
California, Santa Cruz.
Okay.
Or maybe no, not Santa Cruz, just outside.
Yeah.
But
you spoke about Goldman earlier. What's he doing now? Like he used to have those great contests and.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd like to. Where are they now?
Where are they now?
What's Fogelquist doing right now? He's engineering something.
They need to come up with like a
retro.
Yeah, like a contest for old people.
Yeah,
You
totally.
know, retirees.
Totally. Oh, I know. If it was a Rampage retro contest, it'd be called Grampage.
That would actually be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
Imagine if they went back to the original site with like all you old dogs.
And you're not allowed to touch anything? Just go send it? I'd love to do that.
That'd be crazy. I don't think
I was so
anyone would go
hungover
back.
for when I did Rampage and back in 2002. I stayed up with Claw all night and just still drunk the next morning. It was bad.
Did you go to the Bit and Spur there?
Oh yeah, we shut we drank the Bit and Spur out of tequila. We drank the bar dry of tequila.
Oh my God.
And then we shut down Westerland in his room.
Jesus.
Who shuts down Westerland?
Yeah.
Me and the Claw, first time we met.
Wow.
Yeah, it was nuts. I'd love to go back and ride with all those guys and do either go back in time and do it all over again or ride with everyone now. I don't know. Grampage should be a thing.
Grampage.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, totally. I'd like to see you guys this second, third generation guys, have a reunion too.
Yeah.
Like you guys and then like the drop-in guys all have a bus tour with a bunch of the crew and
yeah, that'd be super
cool.
cool.
Retro's cool.
That was the best show, drop-in.
I love drop-in.
That got me into mountain biking, man.
Did it?
Yeah. That's like when I was like getting into mountain biking. I remember like every Wednesday night or something would come out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What super is he gonna do this week?
So sick. Steve
Yeah.
Romanek, like those 1 foot tables are just like, oh.
Yeah, totally. Then they had the tech guys like Danny, Dylan and Danny, and EB from DB. Yeah, that's cool.
It was super good. Sean Denny. Oh,
Sean,
goodness.
yeah, totally.
What's he doing nowadays?
I don't know. I ran into Dylan in a parking lot at the Stevie Smith Memorial, and he was not there riding. He was just there camping in the parking lot. And we're playing frisbee, and the frisbee went over to his tent. I'm like, oh, sorry, dude. And then
Dylan
walked
for
out.
it though, eh?
Eh?
He was there for like the Stevie thing.
I don't think so. No, he just happened to be there.
Wow,
and so he said, no problem, dude. He threw the frisbee, and I'm like, he's like, Tippie? And I'm like, Dylan, hey, how's it going? Now he's riding again.
Yeah.
But I think he had taken some time off riding. Wow. So cruising around, you're competing. Before you worked at Airdome, you had a bunch of slopestyle events, and you did well in a bunch. Like holy, like you got best trick as well at Ranch Style. What did you do there?
That was a flip Cordova, and that was like a pretty controversial like pink bike vote like video thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember much from it, but I
so
just
it was like
remember
the People's
there
Choice
was
best
trick.
trick.
It was like a People's Choice best trick thing, like voted on.
And who else was doing some pretty wild tricks there? Who did you
there was Montgomery. Mike Montgomery was there. Fogel. I can't remember.
Cam McCall, was he there?
So long
Riding
ago.
yet?
I don't know. I don't know if he was
might have
riding.
been
It was
just-
like not
just
a
before his
huge
time.
contest, right? It was
Yeah.
like pretty small.
Yeah.
It was like all the, yeah.
I mean, what was the backwoods boss? You were the backwoods boss, and
Yeah, so they do
Yeah.
the backwoods jam at Coast Gravity Park every
Yeah.
year. In 2016, they have like a athlete voted or like rider voted, like, you know, dude that crushed the weekend, and I got the backwoods boss in 2016. I
Nice.
was pumped on that. Yeah.
Coast Gravity Park, eh?
Oh, dude, it's so sick.
Do you know that Darren Hemstreet, who helped create it,
Mm-hmm.
with the Coastal Crew, has a daughter who's racing World Cup
Oh my
downhill,
goodness,
and she
she's
just got
so
third in the World Championships.
No way.
Yeah, she qualified at a World Cup before that, second, and then I think she ended up third or fourth.
Yeah, no, she
Or second.
kills it on
And
a
now
bike.
in the world, she got the bronze medal.
Yeah, she kills it on a bike.
Yeah. Well, you
Like-
grow up to Coast Gravity Park, you're going to
Yeah.
be pretty
I
used
think
to like.
was she at that
ripping.
Casey Brown?
No, I think she was in Europe already.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dark Horse.
I remember seeing her Dark Horse. Yeah, I remember seeing her.
But
name
there's a
on
young girl there,
something like
Tates,
that.
won the thing, and she's just like a very young girl who's a BC Cup rider. And actually, I was making fun of her because I was doing the awards, and she won the Canadian Nationals.
Yeah.
And then she had to put the jersey on, the Canadian National jersey on the stage, and it took her longer to put the jersey on. She was getting stuck, and her arm was there, and the collar was flipped, and since one arm was inside
The
out.
elbow into the
Yeah,
arm.
totally.
Oh,
And it took her
no.
longer to put the national team jersey on than it did to do her race run. Of
Watch
course, I was like making fun of her playfully on the mic,
Yeah.
The whole
My-
crowd was like chanting.
That's insane. That's
Oh,
amazing. My
wow.
3-year-old's just starting to like change himself and stuff, and that's always just watching him trying to get the shirt on or off, you know?
Yeah.
Both elbows into like the sleeves, and then they're just like, ah.
You're like,
Should I help you? Should I laugh?
Where do I start?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, hey, we're going to take a quick moment here, and we're going to do the ride wrap crash of your life. When was the gnarliest crash of Justin Wyper's life? Because I know
I've had a few.
You've had a few, and it's probably hard to pick one, but I don't know if it's the one where you got hurt the most or if it was the most spectacular crash, but what would you say would be the ride wrap crash of Justin Wyper's life?
Could I do 2?
You can do two.
We'll do 2.
Okay.
Double whammy for ride
Okay,
wrap.
for sure. Double your pleasure.
Yeah.
Double your pain.
So the first one was a bad one. That was Crankworx 2008, and
You had just won the NSMB Airprentice.
I was stoked, on top of the world. I'm like, man, I can win Crankworx here, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I just land this run, and I could win Crankworx. Obviously, I probably hadn't done any of the tricks that I wanted to do in the run before.
You freak.
You know, I was just like Yahtzee out there.
Yahtzee!
But anyways, I tried to spin the gyro trailer, way overshot. I had just started doing 360s on drops like a few weeks before, probably at the Airdome. It's like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. Didn't realize that you have to like go so much slower when you pop a 3 because you travel. So I just way overshot. Ended up doing my tib and fib there, and I actually
Was that a compound one?
compound tib fib.
Yeah.
That was terrible. It wasn't fun. I actually still have the shin pad at my
It
parents'
wasn't humorous.
place. It was not humorous. No,
Sorry.
it didn't hit the funny bone.
Yeah.
But I actually still have the shin pad from that at my parents' place where the bone went through
Went through your shin pad.
the plastic shin pad.
Are you serious with the
Yeah.
sharp, jagged bone?
Yeah.
That's gnarly.
Gnarly.
And you kept that as a memento.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I think it's in my parents' attic somewhere.
That's so gnarly.
I had it for years, just hanging, still all bloody.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
yeah, that was a really bad one. That was when they were doing
What kind of sound did it make? Do you remember?
no.
No.
I don't actually remember, like, I don't even remember the crash, but I vividly remember, like, after the crash, that was when they were doing the renovations on the highway for the Olympics.
Yes.
So it was all torn up and gravel and whatnot. And the ride down to Lionsgate
Oh, so
in the
painful.
back of the ambulance on those, like, under construction roads. God, it was so painful, yeah.
That's a long drive, eh?
Yeah, it was.
When you're in that much pain.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's crazy. Like your brain just blocks those like bad memories out.
Only
you
the
know?
good.
Only the good.
Only the good.
Yeah. And then the my other one, definitely not a bad crash. It was like I actually, it was during Camp of Champions. We were going down the tech section of A-Line, and I tried to like hop or jump over this little route, and my back tire got stuck up on something, and I got thrown forward, and I was hanging, just like kind of sitting on the, like my handlebars over, but my back wheel was still hung up in like a tree or something. And I got
Is that the famous viral photo?
Yeah, so that's a viral
photo. It looks like
photo.
you're crashing, actually, but,
I know.
But it's after.
Because that's, yeah, I just like got stuck there, and I can't remember his name now. Stu, our photographer at the time, was
Stu
literally
Osborne? No.
sitting right there. I can't remember his last name.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but he was sitting right there. So I was just like joking, like, oh, haha.
Yeah.
And then you got a photo, and it literally, because my weight's over the fort, like it looks like I'm crashing.
It looks like you're crashing and you're giving the thumbs up as you're going down.
I feel like everyone in the world's seen that now, but
That's a very viral photo.
like every week I have something on my Instagram or whatnot, and it's like, you know, I've been tagged in a photo. I'm like, oh, I wonder what this is.
You'll never
again.
live that one down.
No, my kids will know me by it.
Yeah. It's like Danny Hart says that every time he goes riding, people yell from the chair, "Stay on your bike, Danny! Stay on your bike!" from his famous 2011 World Championship run.
Yeah.
Nigel Page and Rob Warner in the booth just losing it. Stay on your bike, Danny!
That was a crazy race run. I still remember watching that.
Do you know what?
Just, oh my goodness.
I watched that live. I watched them
You
come
were
across the
there.
line. I was there, and I was actually invited into the announcer booth, and Rob Warner went to go take a piss and grab a beer, and he said, "Take the mic, Tippie." And so I announced like rider like 65 to like 55, like 10
No
riders,
way.
me and Nigel Page. And I was all stoked. So I gave everyone a bunch of high fives when I left. And then I went to do my show, Just the Tip, for Pink Bike.
Mm-hmm.
And I later heard the show. I watched the run. And as he crosses the line, they're like, "Oh my God, 12 seconds up. I think he's going to be world champion." And then Rob Warner's like, "I hope to God he's world champion." And then Nigel Page is like, "Rob, I'm going to give you a high five like Brett Tippie." And then Rob's like, "How does he sit down with balls that big?" Anyway, so it's got like, 12 million views on, YouTube or something. And I watched it with my wife, and she's like, "Did they just say your name?" And I'm like, yeah. I'm going to give you a high five like Brett Tippie. How do you do that? You never even raced downhill. I'm like, I don't know. I was in the announcer booth. I gave some high fives as I left. It was pretty funny.
That's amazing.
Oh my God. And what was funny is I had to get the top 3 interviews with the top 3 ladies, and then the interviews with the top 3 men. And I got, the top 3rd and 2nd in the men. I couldn't get Danny. I was so far from the podium, and the crowd was
such
so
a
thick.
big crowd.
Just a mob scene, right? So I strategically went to where he was going to come off the stage, and I was going to win him on the back. But there was about 20, 30 people of European
thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and so I was sitting there, and I'm like, couldn't get through, and all of a sudden, someone like Euro photographers and media guys grabbed me and muscled their way up to the front, and I was like, "Oh, that's how it's going to be. I played football. I played rugby before. I'm a BC redneck.
Oh, no.
I'm going to town. That's how it's going to be." So I just got my way right to the front, right to the fence. And then I was standing there waiting for Danny to come back. And there was a girl standing next to me, and she was shivering in the rain. It was so wet and raining. And I just went, and I had a dry jacket wrapped in plastic in my backpack. And I was like, look at this poor girl shivering. And we're waiting. And I'm like, I can't take this. I'm like, over my bag. And I said, "Hey, do you want a jacket?" And she went, and she's in a soaked t-shirt, right? She's like, "Really?" A little English accent. I'm like, "Yeah, here you go. Have it." It was like Pink Bike little jacket, And she's like, "Oh my God, mate, thank you so much." And I'm like, "No problem." And so she zips up. She's like, "Oh." All of a sudden, Danny comes out. Everyone, all the media are like, "Danny, Danny, Danny, Danny." And he comes right up to her and gives her a kiss. And she goes, "First interview, right here, mate. Right here." And Danny's like, "Hey, Tippie." I'm like doing the interview. Boom.
No way.
Karma points.
There you go.
It was amazing.
Karma.
Yeah, but it's funny. It's funny how you say that these things are gonna, cruise on through your career, though.
Yeah.
What nicknames have you had in your career? Have you still got one that still sticks? Like Wipe Daddy is the one I know you best as.
That's kind of all I really remember. It's Wipe Daddy.
Yeah.
Everyone's always just called me Wipe Daddy, even before I was a dad.
Yeah.
I remember when Erica posted, she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant. Da-da-da. We're having a baby or whatever." And everyone's like, I remember I got a bunch of texts like, "Wow, we can actually call you Wipe Daddy now." Like,
it's for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it like being a dad? Is that, obviously, as you get older, you back off from doing crazy things, but you know, you still want to shred. But being a parent takes it to another level, you know, of self-preservation and you know, looking after someone else. How has this affected you and your risk management?
I don't know. My risk I feel like even before I had kids, I was starting to get like a little bit smarter, but now, like, obviously you have to be able to go to work and provide and, you know, all that stuff. But whenever I have the problem that whenever I want to go out and ride, I can't turn it off. If I'm riding, that's why I just don't ride that much anymore.
Because you're not going to be able to say no to something gnarly. Yeah,
honestly. Honestly. It's, yeah. But, dude, having kids is so sick, and it's like, Cash, he's 3.5 now, so he's just getting into, like, the pedal biking, and he's been on a strider bike for a while, but now, like, we're taking him to the pump track, and he's, like, shredding around there, and he's, like, watching bike videos and stuff, and, like, you can see him, he goes to the pump track, and he's, like, trying to emulate, like, do little whips, and, like, he, like, rides around and, like, grabs the seat, and, like, just does, like, little knack-knacks and one-cans as he's, like, pedaling down the road. It's so cool.
That's
like,
amazing.
It's gonna be so rad, like, as they get older, to, like, get back out and, like, rediscover.
It keeps you young.
Yeah, you know, like, I shouldn't say I'm jaded, but I definitely don't, like, have the same passion for riding that I used to. I still, like, when I go out.
How can you when you're running 8 hours a day, you know, every day in the Airdome?
Yeah,
you're in the air more than you're on the ground.
Yeah, and like, you know, you get to a point too when, like, I don't know, for me, like, the adrenaline and all that stuff, like, it's not the same payoff now as what it was back then. I still really enjoy riding, but, like, if I do a trick or something, I don't have the same, like, oh, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Unless I'm, like, trying something new, but I don't ride enough to be trying anything new, you know, like, but yeah, so it's just gonna be so cool now that the kids are getting older to, like, start living that life again, not, like, doing crazy things, but, like, being able to be passionate about going riding and stuff, because it's, like, with your little dude who's, you know, so stoked
and
about
experience those new things live through their eyes.
Exactly, yeah.
And
like,
and having it refreshed for yourself.
I can't wait to live vicariously through my son.
Yes.
And my daughter. It's gonna be amazing.
You know, okay, you got to do a world's first, kid. You're going to be as cool as your old man. What are you going to do? And by then, who knows what they're going to have to do to do a world's first?
Well, like,
first.
He can grow up to do anything, but whatever. It's pretty funny. Like, he's been out to, like, a few places where I've been building and stuff, and, like, he looks at the jumps and he's like, you know, someday I could do those. Maybe when I'm older, I'll ride those big jumps. I'm like, yeah, dude, for sure. Like, if you want to, 100%.
Yeah.
Get amongst it.
Wow. And you and your wife have been together for how long?
Close to 7 years. 7 years.
And how did she feel about you know, doing gnarly things? And now that you're dad, has she put the foot down and ever had to say anything? Or you did it all on your own?
She loves it.
She thinks it's rad.
Well, she rides too, right?
Yeah.
She actually shreds on a mountain bike. Like, she's really good. She doesn't ride as much either now because 2 kids. But when she gets on, man, she can haul. I actually, yeah, she's skill-wise, she's, like, maybe a better downhill rider and mountain biker than I am.
But hard to be as good as you in the air.
Not in the air, you know. I got the tricks.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I won her over.
Yeah. Look, the peacock.
Yeah.
When I met my wife, I had disappeared for a few years and was, like, totally on the sauce. And you know, hadn't ridden for years, and I went for my first day with her, and she schooled me on Whistler Bike Park. I crashed off this wall ride and crank it up, and she aired off it, and then aired off the next one, disappeared, and I rolled my knee pad off. I was bleeding. I finally caught up to her, like, sweating, bleeding, and she's like, I thought I used to be a pro or something. And I go, I used to be Brett Tippie. So I rode every day.
In front of my wife.
Did you?
I still, whenever I ride, you know, whenever I'm in front, I'm always trying to show off. I always crash.
Yeah. It's funny. Oh my God. Well, that's cool to have your kids raised by 2, you know, mountain bike, you know, enthusiasts.
For sure.
and raised in the bike world. It sounds like you're not pressuring him, you know, at a young age to start giving her. But
that's a good thing about Whistler too, is there's so many things to do here. You know, it's not just mountain biking.
yeah,
Like, they can be off their bike or Cash, because he's the only one riding now, but he could be off his bike for a week and it wouldn't even faze him, because there's so many other activities to do around here.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
and it's all good cross training for when they do get into biking or want to get into biking.
yeah, like everything's good for everything else, right? It's
Yeah.
just like, when you take time off whatever it is, mountain biking, skiing, skateboarding,
Yeah.
whenever you come back to it, you're always, I feel like a little bit better.
What are your favorite sports other than mountain biking to do?
I ski a little bit in the winter, and then I play a lot of golf. I try to play a lot of golf now. I'm not very good, but I try.
Who's a good mountain biking golfer?
Dustin Gilding's a pretty good golfer.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he's like a 6 or 7 handicap.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's up there.
Wow.
He smokes me every time we go out and play.
Yeah.
We actually, that's one of the things I'm most excited about Rampage this year. Is the last 3 years now, 3 years that we've gone to Rampage, we go and play Sand Hollow on our rest day. It's a golf course like just outside in St. George.
Okay.
So sick. And yeah, last year was
And that's like what, like 40 minutes from
Virgin or
Rampage.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the other diggers, you know,
It's a desert though, but they got the
they're
greens all green because there's a river there.
Yeah, it's desert golf is crazy. It's just cliffs on one. It's just like Rampage, but you're trying to hit this little ball like 400 yards and keep it on this little landing strip, right?
Yeah.
You fall off, your toes.
Yeah, exposure everywhere.
Yeah. What's the wind like?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So speaking of Rampage, you have built a lot of jumps in your life, and you have been a builder for Brandon Semenuk on 2 of his winning builds.
Yeah.
Winning lines. You and Intern. Mm-hmm. And I remember I interviewed you guys after, I interviewed Brandon for the win, and you guys were so pumped. You seemed more pumped than he was. You guys were just alive because you worked so hard to make that happen, and your hands were just hamburger and calloused, and like you guys worked so hard. It was amazing. But you guys were the winning build team in 2016 and 2019, the last time.
Yeah.
But 2016 was the first time that you'd been on a winning.
Yeah, that was
winning build.
That was my second year at Rampage.
Who did you build the first time?
For Brandon before, but we just didn't win that year.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. But
that was my second year, so I kind of knew like what.
Did he get second the year before? Or
I can't remember.
No. Okay, I can't remember either. Yeah.
It was the same site. Because the second year we just like finished what we had planned to do.
Yeah.
The year before, and that 2016 I think was the first year that it was only 2 diggers. They went from 3 to 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's Rampage is rad just because it's the only team event really, like in freeride, or well, it's not really a team event, but it has.
Well,
like,
it is.
It has
really like you need a good team. You can't win without your crew.
That's just it, right? Like, obviously, like Brandon's the winner, but you need that team to like actually get there, and it's like so much planning and like just strategizing within the team, like down to like every shovelful counts. Like, who's gonna dig on here for how long before we move on to like. This project, we're going to tag team that. We're going to hit this in the morning because that's when we have water, and the shade's over there in the afternoon. So just like conserving your energy, because like literally you have to make it to the end, puzzle. Right? So yeah. Wow. So it's just like when you come through and like, at the end, because dude, oh man, before like the runs, like you're so nervous for everyone that's riding, but then also for Brandon, because like, you've built all this stuff and you just want to see him make it to the bottom. Like, yeah. But then when he makes it to the bottom and he has a good run, and you're just like, oh my God, that's so sick that like all that work paid off. Yeah. And yeah. So how many days do you typically build for? 10 days before to? Yeah, I think it's 10 days. Like what are the rules? Like you're allowed so many sandbags. There's a limit. 75? 75 fan bags. 75 sandbags. I think there's no power tools or anything.
Not anymore. There was
Not
for a few
anymore.
years.
There
there.
was for a few
It got
years,
crazy there
and-
with the pneumatic
Yeah,
drills.
that was
and
before my time. I
Yeah.
kind of got on right
It
after
was
that
nuts.
whole
People were hanging by ropes. And
catastrophe. I've heard stories.
Oh, it was sick. It was like, and that's highways everywhere. Big slope style courses down the
Yeah.
mountain.
Well, it's still, I shouldn't say highways, but like the amount of trail that is built in 10 days by however many people, like, what is there, 12 riders or something?
Well,
or
15 this year, but, there's been 20.
Yeah, yeah.
18, 19,
So,
20.
what is that, 45 people
Yeah.
in total?
Building.
The amount of trail that's built in 45 days on like the side of a hill, like it's literally the lower half of Fitzsimmons Bike Park.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and
For 1 or 2
seeing that-
years,
yeah, and
or
seeing
a
that
couple years.
transform like over the course of 10 days is just so cool.
Yeah.
And like walking around and seeing everybody like, oh geez, do you think that's gonna work? Or like, oh my god, did you see like this person? It's just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Such a wild thing. You know what's so gnarly about Rampage is, for people at home when they watch it on TV, it looks big, right?
Yeah,
But when you
yeah.
get there, it looks really big because it's real, right? But not only is it just the size, but there's also those little nuances that make things, if you're a rider, like a little side hill here,
Yeah,
or a
yeah.
pedal catcher there, or
For sure.
if you don't make the outside of a corner, what's the exposure? And
Yeah.
all those little sidebars add to the gnarliness of it that you can't really tell
Yeah,
until
yeah.
you're there,
Like
right?
that year that was it the year that we won? I'm trying to think now of the last. Yeah, so the last time that we won in 2019, there was, I'm trying to think of what year that was now. It's all, anyways, I don't want to say if it's a year that we won or not, but there was a double drop to a berm and then a step down to like a big jump that he 3-knacked. But the berm after the double drop that just went into like a little long and low thing, the berm was only like 3 feet, and it was like, you watching the run, you're like, he's just had to change direction. But on the other side of that berm, it's like
Massive cliff.
like an 80, 90 foot cliff, and you're just like, no one sees that on TV,
Right?
It's bananas.
Yeah.
And just like building all that stuff, like the double drop and like it just all the things.
It's out of hand.
It's out of hand.
This is the 20th anniversary this year, and Wade Simmons won in 2001, way back in the day, and I started. I competed in 2002, but we didn't make any lines, so we didn't have a build crew. We just went. This is my line here.
Yeah,
and just rode through the bushes and just raw. You know what I mean?
I remember like watching a video of like old Rampages when I was younger, and it was like probably it was the year that Tyler won Klassen.
That was
2002?
when I was competing.
Crazy, like just like literally that they were just narrating that, they're just walking around, blah, 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 and there's this dude standing on a cliff. Like they didn't even pull any of the weeds out or anything. They just
use them for reference.
Yeah.
I came down and I had some stones lined up to take me off like on a 1 o'clock series of pads, like an 8 and a 10 and a 12-foot drop, bang, bang, bang. And there was people standing everywhere as I came down, and I'm like, move, move, move. And all these people were scampering out of the way. Then all my stones were gone.
Oh,
and I was like trying to remember where I was going.
Where do I take off?
And
Because you can't see the landings.
No, because it just drops out of sight, right? It was a different time. But it's bigger, badder, and more refined now. But that's what happens over 20 years.
Yeah.
And it should be.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
Pretty sick. Wow. So you've never been a Rampage. You've done a bunch of slope styles. You've done Crankworx and stuff. Do you ever wish that you could have been in a Rampage, or do you think like I could
now I wish. Now I'm glad that I never was in a Rampage.
Yeah.
I remember when I was younger, I really wanted to like ride Rampage. I remember being at like Interbike and like trying to track down Barber like the whole week. And, like, where's Todd? I got to talk to this guy. And I even like was hassling like Big D for a little while. At Interbike, like, yo, dude, you gotta like put an in for me. Like, I want to ride.
I will send it.
Yeah, exactly. But thankfully, I didn't.
Yeah.
Because I probably would have gotten hurt, for sure.
Well, that's a place where injuries can happen, and because you're pushing it, and it's Rampage, it's all go, and you're an all go guy, right? Like you would not. I know you would not hold back. You'd be like trying the stupidest stuff.
Yeah.
Most awesomest stuff.
Yeah. Back then, I was, yeah, who knows? I would have gotten into trouble for sure.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Definite trouble there.
So when you build for Brandon, and he's picked his line, how much input are you having to not just the strategy of when and where, but to make suggestions? Because you're a good rider, obviously a good rider. Intern's a good rider. And Brandon, does he come to you with like advice, not advice, but like questions, like, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think
Yeah,
this is
a
doable?
little bit here and there. Like, I feel like that's kind of why we have a good like working relationship a little bit, is because like I can ride a lot of that stuff. So like I'm not the kind of person either who's going to be like, you know, try and force my opinion on him especially, but like we definitely bounce ideas off of each other here and there. He'll be like, oh, what do you think about this? I'm like, yeah, I think that's cool, or maybe it would work a little better, or I see it better like working like this. It's, oh yeah, cool kind of thing. But
yeah, and he trusts you. Well, he's you know, for 12 years you've been
I haven't been working with him for 12 years.
No, haven't you been?
No. I only started with him in 2015. Inti, though, he's been going a long time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Inti, known as intern. That's short for intern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intern, Evan.
What's his real name?
Evan.
Okay. I never. Well, actually, I did know that. But
Yeah.
I forgot. Like, do you know my first name?
I've got so many different nicknames for him. I'd be like talking to somebody and I'd call him one name in the conversation and then another name in the same. Like just kind of roll through the names as the conversation goes on, and people are like, "Who are you talking about again?" And it's
Same guy. Wow.
Yeah. Inti's been going with him though for I don't know how many years, 7 or 8 or.
Because he used to first start
like
helping at the Coast Grampage, or on the Sunshine Coast. I mean, with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Inti does everything with B. Like I'm fortunate enough to get out and like work on a few projects with him a year kind of thing.
Yeah.
But Inti's doing everything.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you've worked building courses, working for the Joyride bike parks, working for Paddy Kaye, who was on a previous podcast. You might want to check it out on the Tippie podcast. Paddy Kaye, selfish plug.
Yeah.
Great podcast.
I just listened to that the other day.
Did you?
Actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
He's done some cool stuff.
Man, that guy is a legend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like way back in the day, and you know, good rider back then, and he's built like so many trails and so many like Joyride slopestyle courses and various stuff all around the world.
An insane amount. Like
Yeah. Like
I worked for him for since like 2015 kind of time.
Yeah.
And like we had a pretty good relationship, but there's still things that like, you know, today I'm learning about him that like, holy cow, you did what? You're gnarly.
Yeah.
You built that? Wow.
So what kind of a team is it have you got there, and what's it like working with the Joyride crew?
Yeah, like Paddy is an amazing person to work for, and I'm super fortunate to have worked for him. He's really set me up with everything that I have now in terms of like experience and like kind of getting my foot in the door in the industry, like, and knowing people. That's how like my building relationship with Brandon came about, was like through Crankworx and Joyride and him coming out and like testing the courses. He's a good dude to work for, and he's given me lots of opportunity. So, yeah.
I like some of the legacy projects he's done that aren't like super big, badass, gnarly courses, but some tracks that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah.
And so he can balance that with the big, gnarly senders.
For sure.
But something that is attainable for everybody.
Yeah, like Joyride does trails kind of all over the Sea to Sky corridor in Pemberton, Squamish, North Van, like, so.
Yeah.
Done a bit of everything everywhere, so. Like that Meadow of the Grizzlies trail in Squamish there.
I night ride that all the time. That's one of my night ride favorites.
I think you've ridden past me on that trail. I was like in a little digger one time, like doing some work, and like you and
was
some
that
people
you
came and cruised by, and oh, there goes Tippie.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually do that one in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, at night. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a long struggle trail, but.
Yeah, I bet, eh? Yeah. There's a lot of turns in that trail.
There's a lot of turns.
Oh my God, there's so many turns. It makes me feel like I'm snowboarding.
Yeah.
You know?
Like I feel like I was on that trail for like a year and like built the whole thing, but I only ended up actually doing like a small section of it because it's so long, you know, you just feel like you're there forever.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I must have built this whole trail, but it's only like, you know, the trail's like 5K long. Like, man, yeah.
Yeah.
Like Paddy and Will, and there's so much time has gone into that trail that, yeah. Anyways.
So when you build some of the stuff for Joyride and stuff, do you ever get on the bike and then test out the speed and the distances, and how often do you actually, you know, need to do that, or can you just eyeball it, you know, with your experience, or does it help to actually roll it and run it?
For like the Crankworx course, I try and ride everything, and like
cool.
Paddy kind of gets you to try the stuff so that you know that it works. Because you don't want to have, you know, contest day shows up or the athletes show up and they're trying to ride this stuff for the first time and it doesn't work, you know, and then they lose a practice because you have to move a jump or something like that, right? Like, it's not fair to the athletes. So
it's nice to be dialed.
Yeah, it's just good to be dialed, because that stuff I don't think ever really happened like back in the day, right? Like, I remember going to slopestyle courses and it was like, has anybody ridden this stuff before? It's like, we have to figure it out. So now it's like, yeah, I try and as well as everybody that rides that kind of stuff that works for us rides as well. Like Phil McLean, like the Kiwi guy, worked for us a few years ago. He rode with me a bunch, and Brandon comes out and rides and tests things and stuff for us. But
how many guys on the Joyride build crew can actually ride those massive jumps?
There's always 2 or 3 kind of that are, you know, sprinkled within that come out and try and ride. Some people we don't let ride, but they want to.
Yeah, they're almost there, but
they're almost there,
not
but
quite.
not
But
quite. They gotta earn their stripes.
Yeah,
they got a few more years of raking before.
So like, it's challenging because the boneyard is quite steep.
Mm-hmm.
For a building zone for a slopestyle course, so you got to work it side to side, because ideally you don't want the riders to have to brake, you know, before a jump or pedal and just have a good consistent speed where they can go to, and ideally do it without pedaling.
Yeah, it's just managing like that, the slope with, you know, the track basically going back and forth and kind of using the features to slow you down and pick up speed, so it's, you know, just consistent the whole way through.
Yeah.
You don't want to really be taking pedals. You don't really want to be braking. You just want to be able to have this. If you land the jump properly, you should be able to just hit the next jump, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe not coast into it. I like jumps and riding where you kind of have to work for stuff, where you're always constantly like pumping a lip, or, you know, pumping the base of a landing or a roller or berm or whatnot. I feel like it just keeps you engaged.
Yeah.
Instead of just kind of like waiting until the next thing comes.
Yeah.
So whenever we build and we ride, that's kind of what we're really trying to like figure out is, you know, because everything's pretty close. Like, you can eyeball things within a few feet generally. Because while you're building it, you're sitting there the whole time, you know, like, okay, I'm slewing dirt, but I'm looking up here. Okay, I'm going to be up there in the air. Like, I'm going to travel that far. The knuckle needs to go here if I want to land on the landing. So you kind of have it all like mapped out as you're building it for however long, right? And then when you test it, you're really just like refining it. You're moving a lip like a foot or something, or just to kind of get that sweet spot so you can control your speed and that.
Does Clover come by and tell you how it should be?
Yeah.
Laying down the clock.
He hasn't in a few years, but when I first started with Joyride, the clock came by a few times, showed us how to rake. It was so funny.
Give me that.
Give me that. Let me show you how it's done. This is called a hard rake. You get all the rocks off. You pull all the big ones over here.
Oh my God. That's awesome. I love it.
We know, man.
Wow. So speaking of building, you just were the lead builder and designer of the latest Brandon Semenuk video, Realm, which is blowing up right now. And you built 4 features that are kind of unique and a little bit different than a typical slopestyle course. And you got a cameo.
Yeah.
And not many people get a cameo in a Brandon Semenuk video. You know, like, who else has been in a Semenuk video you can think of just off the top of your head? Like, our dog, Aggie,
yeah, Stevie,
Brendan Faircloth,
Stevie
Smith, yeah,
Yeah.
And Justin Wyper.
And Justin Wyper now.
So
it's crazy.
I understand that you helped build this, and then you were filming, and Brandon was trying to get you into it, and Rupert were going like, "Come on, just get on the camera, just go hit something." And you're like, "No." Yeah. And then they were relentless, and they finally convinced you.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
Well, it's just like through the whole build, you know, they're like, "Dude, we want to get some clips of you. Dude, you're gonna ride." No, I'm not gonna ride. Give me a break. Like, B's filming after, like, because the build kind of overlaps with the filming a little bit. So we're like still slaving away like 10, 12-hour days. Like, "Oh, we're shooting. You gonna ride?" "No, I'm not gonna ride." Like, "Yeah, right. We just finished digging." Like, I'm toast, man.
Yeah.
Medium brown, but then like every day, you know.
Medium brown.
And then, anyways, the build finishes, and B's like, "Dude, you got to come back out and ride a little bit." Like, blah, blah. It's like, so I ended up like...
It sounded like Brandon was adamant you were going to do this.
Yeah, him and Roop really wanted to get some clips, and I was like, man, like, it's... Now looking back, I'm like, I'm so happy because, you know, the response is great, but I was, at the time, like, man, who wants to watch this guy, like, you know, do some sketchy tricks and break up the flow of a Brandon video, you know? But I think it really worked in with, like, the video, just like the chill vibes and kind of, you know.
It didn't look sketchy to me because your face was so calm. You did that huge one-handed Superman seat grab, and you totally tweaked it right out with your hand right behind you, and your face was like you were like, you know.
Those are the stock tricks now, though. I don't know. Those ones are a lock.
Yeah.
They're gnarly, but like I can just whip them out like that.
I did these in the Airdome years ago.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I did so many of them. They're just. I do them in my sleep. There's only like 5 or 6 of them. They're just all kind of gnarly. Just do them over and over. All the kids are like, wow, look at him.
Yeah.
I can't do anything else.
That's awesome. Well, the kids, you know, who might not have known you, you know, when you were competing and known any of the videos or that you've been in and whatnot, they definitely know you now, like the new kids.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like, I got so many like little messages and stuff like that from kids. It's just the new generation who would have, you know, they're just getting into it. They would have no idea who I am or what I did or anything. So it's pretty cool to have those kids be like, wow.
It is super cool.
Like, I got so many little comments on like old videos, like, holy cow.
Yeah. So many more Instagram followers too.
You're pretty good. Yeah, the Instagram followers went up.
Yeah, you must be new here. Yeah. Never seen you before. No, I've been around.
If only I did more Instagramming.
Yeah. How much does a hipster weigh?
I don't know.
In Instagram. How did the hipster burn his lips? He drank his coffee before it was cool.
Ooh.
So in this build with Semenuk's video realm, there was like 4 features that were kind of different.
Yeah.
That were not typical of a standard slopestyle course these days. And I understood there was a contest that the people could choose for their favorite of those 4 new features, and the winner of the 4 features was going to be put in the Joyride course the next time it came around. Is that true?
That is the idea. Sorry, Paddy Kaye, for the next year's Joyride and giving you more work. But that's the idea, is to kind of inject a little bit of new life into the next year's Joyride course. It was kind of like just a way to tie the project back into Joyride. We kind of designed these new features, and
there's no winner yet. It hasn't been
no winner
yet.
yet. I think it's...
What were the 4 features? What describe the 4 features? So
we had the high beam. It was called, and that's like the jump up onto the log, drop off, hand plant over, and ride underneath.
Yeah.
I think they called it the redirect, which is just the Renner, like the quarter pipe. We did originally wanted to build a spine behind it, but just because of the landscape and that didn't really work out with speed and stuff, so that got nixed for the video. But
yeah,
on like the Joyride slope, because of that terrain there, something that would work would be like the quarter to spine idea. And then kind of our little like 4-pack dirt jump zone, which is kind of like a little whale tail, step up, and then like a full-sized lip step down. and then the sphere that everyone is super hyped on.
Sphere, is that what we call it?
The sphere.
The sphere.
Sphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing to sphere is sphere itself.
That sphere, let me tell you. It almost broke and turned an eye.
How did you make that thing? It looks like it's wood, but you made it out of metal underneath or what?
Yeah, so it's actually, we had 2 features in that video that were built out of aluminum by a local fabricator, Carson, who also is like a really good mountain biker. But he builds like aluminum boats.
So he can bend it nicely, like for the bow.
Yeah. So he's super good with all that, like, because we have no idea how to work metal and stuff like that, you know.
But he builds boats. Did you know my neighbor started a new business building boats?
Oh, no way.
Sales are going through the roof.
Sorry,
I couldn't help it.
Do you know what kind of vegetable you never want to find on a boat?
No, what?
A leek.
Oh, nice.
Anywho.
Wow.
Anyway, so this Carson guy from the Sunshine Coast is a local fabricator there. He builds like aluminum boats. And we were originally trying to get Wayne Goss, an old mountain bike guy.
Yeah, I remember Wayne Goss from the Race Face days.
Yeah, to build these things, and it didn't end up working out. But Wayne was the one who kind of figured out by strapping like a trampoline up on edge, and like pulling some metal with like some tie downs, like how to actually build the sphere, like the proper radius that looked right. So anyways, we kind of figured all that stuff out, and then this Carson guy welded them all up, the quarter pipe and the
out of aluminum.
Out of aluminum. So they're super light. Like 2 or 3 people could like pick that sphere up.
Really?
When it's just like the frame. But it's big and awkward, so like you can move it, but you can't like hoist it or anything.
Yeah.
So we had to use the machine to get it up there. But yeah, like sheeting that thing was such a pain in the butt.
So you sheeted it with wood.
Yeah.
Right onto the metal.
And like, I had never built or sheeted anything that's like a sphere, you know? Like I've sheeted lips, which is like a one-dimensional like.
So do you make it like spokes, start at the middle, go like big fat, like pizza pie, like pizza
that's
slices? That's
what we were trying to do, but like we'd measure it. It was just like, I'm sure there's a better way than what we ended up doing. We ended up doing like pizzas, but like trying to figure it out, because you watch some videos, like people build skateboard bowls and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, they cut pizzas, easy peasy. I was like, we're gonna get this thing sheeted in like 3 hours, get it up there. It ended up taking us like 2 days to sheet this thing properly and like get it up there. But it was like, yeah, we ended up cutting pies and then like just screwing it in there. But because it has like no ribs on the back in between, like, how do I explain it? There's all these webs that come from the middle, like up to the one like trampoline bar that goes around like rim. The diameter.
Yeah.
So there's all these pieces that come from the center up, but there's nothing like really connecting them in between. So you're only screwing onto like these ribs. So like your sheets of wood are still kind of flat. You know what I mean? As they go around, then try to get them all
flexed out.
Yeah, it was tricky.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a few meltdowns during it. But,
was there?
Yeah.
And was it like a time crunch on getting this done?
Yeah, that was actually the last feature to go in, and we were already like kind of a week past when we wanted to be done building. Maybe not a week, but like a few days.
Yeah.
So it was like, we want to get this thing done. I had been out there for 34, 35 days at this time. Like Evan had been out there for, a few days less, but like no days off really. Like we took 3 days off the entire build. It's 12, 13-hour days every day. Long days.
That's full on. I had no idea.
It's super full on.
Well, it's a work of art, so obviously it takes time to build something like that.
It takes time to build it, but like it was literally like the scope of like a Red Bull Joyride course, but built in the matter of 5 weeks or 4.5 weeks.
And what happens to it now?
It's still up. Yeah, at a dislocate. What's the word?
At
a location.
A disclosed
location. I don't know. That doesn't sound like the right word, but Yeah, undisclosed.
Undisclosed. There we go.
There
nice
we go.
work.
Now
yeah.
we got it.
Full bonus points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secret location.
So it'll hang out.
Do you know what a secret is? A secret is something to tell one person at a time. Wow. Well, that was quite the project, and the riding's insane. Obviously, Brandon's riding's always insane, but nice to see him be creative and
yeah, it's so cool to be able to do something like Joyride, but with no restraints at all, really be able to put Brandon's idea of what he thinks is really cool about slopestyle and what he enjoys about it, and like what I really like in slopestyle, and like just kind of get creative and try some things that are new, and I wonder what feature will win and will be actually in the next Joyride. I don't know. I wish we just take them all, although it'd be hard.
It'd be hard to do, but
yeah. But it needs it, like slopestyle's a little stagnant now, just
extra bar spin and extra this and extra.
And the jumps are the same every course and stuff. It'd be nice to get something a little fresh that isn't like a circus act, that can still be ridden and is like, just allows people to be very like creative.
Yeah.
Outside of like what combo you're going to do in the air, but like
on the same jump,
how you're actually going to ride the feature.
Yeah.
Because that was kind of the big thing behind like all these features, was like you can ride them so many different ways, like that little log ride thing can be ridden 100 different ways by 100 different people. Right?
The one he ran along?
Yeah. Like who would have thought just to jump off their bike and run along it, right? But it's something that's totally cool. It works.
I know.
But other people could like do mani tricks or like, other things on and off. And then like the quarter pipe could be a hand plant, a foot plant. You could air over the log. You could do whatever, right? So there's just all these different things. And same with the sphere. You could ride it like a quarter. You could ride it,
It's a good point. 2-7
in, 2-7 out. Do different wacky things. Jump in, fakie out. Jump in, land fakie, and air. There's just like, there's so many different ways to allow people to get creative instead of just a jump.
Yeah.
Where you're like fairly limited.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Oh, I love it. It was a total success, and it's gone viral, and
it's super.
You were the lead builder. You done good, kid.
Oh, thanks, man. And so did everyone else that was involved in it. Like, couldn't have done like.
So who was involved with that? Like Rupert was filming.
Rupert was filming.
Who was building with you?
Building with me was Evan Young, Dawson Amen from Squamish. Alan Mindell came out for a few days. Little buddy Shane Wilson came out for a few days. Logan Pete was out there for a few days. Inti and Dawson and Dan Fleury. Dan Fleury was out in the beginning too for a little bit, but
that's awesome.
We had a lot of people come out and help, but like Dan, intern, and Dawson were like the three other main people who were out there working and digging every day.
It's interesting you're saying like Brandon was writing some things and filming it while still other things were still being built, and it was kind of like a work of progression, and then
for sure
finished with the sphere.
With the sphere.
Yeah,
that's kind of how like all of those like little shoots seem to work, is like you're always kind of building and shooting at the same time.
It's not like you all get it done and then you do it all at once.
Yeah,
except for the line where he did the top to bottom one shot.
Yeah, that was done all before.
Yeah,
for sure. Imagine KJ and Adam are just at the bottom.
At the bottom. Hurry, here he comes. So you're getting ready to go to Rampage in a few weeks.
It's coming up.
Or not a few weeks, or in a month. Sorry. Yeah. October 15th is the finals.
Weeks.
You're going down there in a few weeks. Yeah. You got 10 days of building to do.
15th is the finals.
So how does it work for Brandon to pick his line? Like, how does it work for all those guys? Like, there's 15 people going in the 20th anniversary of Rampage, Red Bull Rampage, and it's not a new location, or it's an old location. What do you know? Are we allowed to say? I don't know.
I don't know. I
don't know either.
I've heard rumors.
I heard it was a new location, but then I've heard that it's not a new location. So
I've heard the same. So time will tell.
Yeah.
I think Red Bull's trying to keep it under wraps. You know, like,
yeah.
Who knows? Depends on when this comes out, I guess.
Yeah, there's red laser marks coming through the window right now. But you're going to go down there. it's you an intern working with Brandon, and he's a 3-time winner. Kurt Sorge's the only 3-time winner, the only other 3-time winner.
Yeah.
So both, BC boys.
It's
and
crazy.
If he wins, he'll be the first 4-time winner.
Yeah.
And so you're going to win.
History.
You're going for history.
Yeah.
You're not going down there not to win. Like Brandon's not going there not to win.
No,
like that's
neither are we, right?
Yeah, right.
We want to win.
10 days, like you got to be ready. You got to be fit.
Yeah,
you got to be.
I've started prepping. Yeah.
Let's see your hands. Let's see your hands.
They're not. Well, actually, they're.
Show the camera. Look at those hands.
They're a little dirty.
Yeah.
But I came straight from work today.
What were you doing today?
Running machines, but okay. I had a hose burst on me.
So. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Had to do a quick fix. Hands are a little dirty.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see you down that Rampage. I'm covering it for Pink Bike.
Yeah.
And
it's going to be a good one. If it's a new year, it's going to be tough. Those first year
like
days,
a new location.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you do the most work.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the most rewarding, but like you just dread it the whole time.
You interned in 75 sandbags.
Yeah. And Brandon.
Go.
He'll do some digging.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I can't wait to see you guys down there, see what you guys come up with.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It's going to be, I'm sure it'll be sweet, whatever we decide to build or whatever Brandon wants to ride.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be some gnarly things. I'm just excited to see what everyone else, and some new faces too, see what they bring
Jackson
to the table.
Riddle.
Yeah.
Brage Vestovic, a couple new faces.
Yeah.
Have you seen that video that Brage did for X Games? Real X Games? The guy's a wild man. And his run at Hardline.
Some gnarly stuff.
Oh, yeah. He's strong. And good. Yeah.
Looks like he's just a Viking.
He is a Viking. He's just a mad Viking on a bike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sick. It's nice to see some new blood for sure.
Yeah.
Mix in with the
spice it up a little bit. Hopefully it'll be a new site for that reason,
Yeah.
Like just
that gives everyone a better chance,
field.
Right? Yeah, that's true.
Because if they go back, it'll.
I think it's going to be somewhere new. I don't know if it's going to be brand new or if it's going to be recycled, but
yeah, even if it's recycled, it's not the worst because there would be like a whole new way. As long as it's old enough, I feel like.
Yeah.
There's just. You don't necessarily have to take your line that you had before, You could be like, man, that was really cool. I remember that.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get over there, but how do I get over there? So then I have to build like new sections to get to rebuild these things. It could be cool.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
What's the future for you looking like? What's for you? Like you worked for Joyride for years. Are you doing your own trail building company now?
Yeah, I started my own kind of little company just so I could do projects like this last Realm one.
If people want to find you, where can they find you? What's it called?
It's called Wyper Formations. I don't have a website. I don't have an Instagram.
You're new.
They can just call me.
Yeah. Old school style.
Old school style. Soon to come though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really just an outlet.
Hey, what have you got? Like 25 years experience already building jumps?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Maybe closer to 15 or 20. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like, it's really just an outlet. Like I still, like if Joyride happens again with Joyride bike parks, like I'm definitely gonna go and try and work with Paddy and be a part of that because I'm so passionate about Joyride and just that course, and that's I want to do that. But this like other little side project is really just to like enable me to do more projects like this Realm one. Like I think that's kind of where mountain biking's going now too. Maybe not all of mountain biking, but media-based content. And if riders want to, produce media-based content, they have to have things to ride on. So
right.
Maybe people will call me.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Old school style. Yo, hey.
Yo, hey.
Wipe Daddy. I need some jumps.
Yeah.
Let's make a deal.
Exactly. Always hit me up on Instagram, Wipe Daddy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's wrap that up. That sounds like a great place, that you've come from, and sounds like you're in a good place and you're going to a good place. So I'm happy for you, and
thanks, man.
Proud of you for all you've done, and you are just always just a good guy, and I always thought you were like a loose unit. You're out there. Out here, you lost your passport. You lost your teeth. And you're just like, boom. But now, like, people are saying that you've transformed into like quite the dad, a very good dad, and you're like a business owner, and you're like Mr. Responsibility these past years, and and people are out there are proud of you too, and you know, you've always been a sender, but nice to see you use those skills and talents.
Yeah, thank you.
In a thing that's helping progress the whole sport and entertain people.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's very cool. Just stoked to have
I'm
you
just
as
stoked
a
to
guest.
still be able to be a part of the mountain bike industry in some way, and you know,
Hang out with all the cool
dudes
people.
still, you know.
Yeah.
Ride here and there, and then,
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, we have a tradition of ending with a joke, so we need a dad joke from you before we sign out.
All right. I'll give you one of my favorite ones right now.
Oh, is this like a go-to, like one of your tricks?
This is like one of my go-to.
Oh,
ones.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wife daddy go-to.
So a piece of string walks into the bar and goes up to the bartender, and the bartender says, "Hey, we don't serve string here." So the string walks back to his table, messes up his hair, ties himself in a knot, goes back to the bartender, and the bartender says, "Hey, aren't you that piece of string that I just threw out of here?" He says, "I'm afraid not."
I'm afraid not.
I'm afraid not. I'm afraid not.
You're pulling my rope here.
I know, yanking your chain.
I'll return one that I got from Brandon, actually.
Oh, nice. Okay, sweet.
Did you hear about the explosion at the cheese factory?
Yeah, there was...
there was nothing
debris.
left.
Nothing left but debris.
Nothing left but debris. That's it.
Oh, I can't believe I messed that one up.
Let's go back in time. Let's try that over again. I'm going to give you one of Brandon's jokes. Go back in time. Did you hear about the explosion at the cheese factory?
Yeah, the only thing left was debris.
Yes! I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There's some good ones.
Yeah.
Fish. No, we can't go.
Oh, it probably would go on.
I know, we'd
go on
forever.
We'd go on all night.
I just stopped myself. That was Evan's, one of his favorite memories. He tells me of like recent rampages. We were at this ram tent, and you and I were just going for like...
Oh, we had a tennis game of jokes back and forth.
I don't have that many anymore. They've been lost in the vault.
Oh my god!
I need like, you know,
you were on fire that night because I was like
words to like.
I still talking about that.
Up.
And there was the time at the Rampage after party, you, me, and Brandon were telling jokes in a triangle, standing there, and I didn't know how funny Brandon was until that trip because like he was
I've got
like
a dad joke book from Brandon that he gave me. It's gold. But
really.
Yeah, every once in a while we send him back and forth.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, he's sent me some good ones on Instagram.
Dude.
He is a funny dude. Yeah.
Pretty good sense of humor.
Yeah, I love it.
Guy.
I love it. All right, well, thanks for coming on the show. It's been great, and we'll see you down at Rampage, buddy.
Thank you, Brett.
Right
Take
on.
care, pal.
Justin Wyper, everybody. Ow!